with these questions. You did not disappoint. This video is just so long overdue. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a Q&A. I am so excited to be doing this video. I always kind of get a lot of questions on all my different social media channels, and I'm really excited to just create a dedicated video answering all of them to hopefully help you guys out, whether you want to learn more about what goes on behind the scenes of running a business, whether you are a small business owner and you want some tips and guidance, or whether you just want to know more about me and the girl behind this business. So thank you to everyone that submitted questions. So I've collected all the questions from my Instagram account, Facebook account, and YouTube. So we got a lot to get through, and thank you to everyone that submitted questions. Before we get started, I do want to note that at the end of the video, I'm going to be sharing some very big, exciting news. It is about a project that I have been working on for about 2 to 3 years now, and I'm very excited to tell you guys about it. It just so happens as a coincidence that I finished it a few weeks before I had the idea to do this video, and it kind of ties in together well. So that is going to be at the end of the video, so yeah, make sure you don't miss that because I'm very excited about that news. Okay, let's get into these questions. After watching your last YouTube video, I got exhausted. LOL, how many hours do you work a day? Oh man. Okay, so my baseline, I usually work 8 to 9 hours a day. My alarm goes off on work day every single day at 8:05 a.m. and then I work usually from 8:30 onwards about 8 or 9 hours. And that's during my regular season though, because during busy seasons, like whenever I have a launch, or especially November, December when it's the big holiday rush. If you've been following me for a while, you've probably seen how chaotic things get around here during those times. Last holiday season specifically, I was working between like 13 to 15 hour days every day, including weekends, for a month or two. It can get wild. So yes, I do get very exhausted as well. Okay, how to get started from zero. Should you get your own website right away, or is it better to go with Etsy? Okay, so that's a really good question. So what I personally did when I first started my business was I started off with Etsy, and I'm gonna tell you why I think that's the better option. Obviously, do whatever you want, like whatever you're feeling called to do, definitely do that. But in my opinion, it's better to start off on Etsy because Etsy already has thousands, millions probably, or just a lot of customers daily on the site, on their shopping for things. So you already have that traffic that exists on Etsy. So when you create things, you're gonna get a lot of eyes on it, hopefully. Obviously, when you first start, it can take a while to build that up. But if you just are starting your business and you start out right away with your own domain and website, you have to put 100% of the work into getting eyes on your site. So like if you don't have social media channels yet and you're starting from scratch, you can definitely get to the point where you get customers, but it may take you a bit longer if you go that route, just because marketing's a lot of work and it takes a lot of effort in the beginning to find people who want to support your shop if they don't know who you are. So that's kind of why anytime I'm asked this, I just recommend starting with Etsy, and that's personally what I did. And I was on Etsy for a few years until I really had my own dedicated e-commerce website. Okay, how did you figure out all the ins and outs, website, shipping, costs, manufacturers? Did you take classes? So this is kind of like a jumbled answer because I went to school for studio art. I majored in illustration. However, they taught you nothing about how to be self-employed as an artist and have your own creative small business. We were taught a lot about how to craft your resume and create portfolios for submitting to design houses for different companies, like if you wanted to work for a clothing designer or a graphic design firm, or like children's books illustration, like publishing houses, stuff like that. But not once were we ever taught, you know, like how to make it on your own as a small business owner and how to find manufacturers, how to set up shipping, all that stuff. So I really kind of had to dive into that myself. A lot of what I know is trial and error on my own part of experimenting because I'm a very dedicated person, and when I have have a goal or a dream in mind, I do not stop until I achieve that. And I'm just a very self-motivated person, and so many nights through end of high school, because I started my business then, and into college, I would be up till 1 or 2 a.m. just trying to read books and look online to see if I could learn how to do it. So I read some books when I first started my business about how to run an Etsy shop, how to exhibit at craft shows, and I don't think I really took classes. I mean, I took online hand lettering classes. I've taken, I think, 1 or 2 Instagram marketing classes, and then after I graduated college, I got a certificate in digital marketing. I took a year-long course on that. However, I don't really feel like that helped me because it was geared towards really like business people, like analytic people, and nothing to do with creativity or artists. But it was helpful on the SEO side. But a lot of it is just trial and error. Manufacturers, I really learned everything myself with that, with researching how to find those. Same goes for website, shipping costs. A lot of it's trial and error, yeah. Not the most simple answer, but that's, yeah. Do you find it hard to separate home life versus work life when you actually live above your studio? Yeah, I struggle with this really badly. Ask anyone in my household. I basically never stop working. Even if I'm not in my studio packing orders, I never stop working. So the new studio that I'm in now is in my basement. However, my original studio that I recently moved out of was in my bedroom / living room. So my boyfriend and I live in a loft type area, and on one side is our living room, the other side's our bedroom. And on the living room side, half of it was our living room, half of it was my business. So I never really escape my job. Not that I'm complaining, because I'm in love with my job, but like I mentioned, even when I'm not packing orders, I'm thinking of new design ideas I want to do, and I'll be, in the evenings, I'll be just sitting watching TV, or not even really watching, but I'll be having it on in the background and I'll be drawing new designs. Or if I'm out and about on a walk or something and I have an idea, I whip my phone out and pull out my to-do list of designs I want to do and write down my design idea. If I'm wanting to like relax and go on social media, it's my business account, so it's all business related, and usually answering people's questions about my business on social media. And you get messages pretty much any time of the day from Etsy or Shopify with customers having questions, and I have a very hard time with not responding if I see a message. So even if I'm awake at midnight and someone sends me a question about an order or something, I cannot not answer it. I will get very kind of like anxious and fixated on it if I don't respond to it right away, and like I will not be able to focus on anything else until I answer that person to try to help whatever the issue or question may be. So I struggle with that. I really need to get good about kind of putting up like away messages after maybe like 6-7 p.m. or something like that, because I just always feel like I have to answer. So yes, I do find it very hard to separate the two. All right, what are some must-dos before you start a small business? Ooh, man, there's a lot. I mean, first and foremost, if you're wanting to start a small business, make sure you're wanting to start it because you're passionate about what you want to start a small business doing. Like, don't just start a small business because you see someone else being successful and you're like, oh, I want to be successful like them. Like, it's totally fine to be inspired by people and be like, well, I want to do that too. But make sure that you're going into starting a small business just because you feel that drive of, I want to be an entrepreneur, I want to be my own boss, I want to set my own hours, I want to like make things or draw things, sell things, whatever it may be, because you're passionate about it. Because if you go into a small business just because you want to get rich fast, or you see someone else doing it and you're like, well, I can do that too and I'll be great at it, but you're not passionate about it, I don't really think that sets people up for success, because you're gonna get burnt out really quickly and really tired of it if you're not in love with what you're doing. So my advice is just start a small business based off what you love doing. Like me, I love books, I love artwork, and I love happy, colorful things, and my whole business revolves around that, and that's why I love going to work every day. Like, I look forward to getting up in the morning, coming in my studio, packing your orders, creating new designs, having launches. It's a lot of work. Like in my opinion, I work more running my small business than I probably would if I didn't have a small business, because like I mentioned in the previous question, I really don't have downtime, but I really almost don't mind it because my business is my baby and I just am in love with it. So I don't even know if that answered that question. What was the question? What are some must-dos before you start a small business? Okay, so long story short is start a business doing something you love. Also, make sure to look into your town's specific requirements for starting a business. Usually you have to get a business license, a sales tax permit. Make sure you have all your bases covered with that. And yeah, I mean, those are like the two big things to make sure you start doing. Oh, another thing is when you pick your business name, first thing you should do before getting your business license is make sure that name isn't already taken, and get your social media channels, like whatever you want to be on, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Etsy shop, domain, and secure those first, because you don't want to go get a business license and then you go to get the domain and it's like, oh, that's already taken. So just make sure you do that. How do I find a reputable company for washi tape on Alibaba? This is overwhelming and scary to me. I totally get it. I was personally very, very scared and overwhelmed when I first went that route for washi tape. So I do get my washi tape on Alibaba. There are many, many different manufacturers to choose from, but the two biggest tips I have for you is when you go on Alibaba.com, when you are at this like search section on the left side, I believe, there should be an area with some checkboxes so you can check off specific requirements that you want manufacturers to have to come up in search. Make sure, one, you check off trade assurance. Yes, trade assurance. I think that guarantees that if something goes wrong with your order, that you're covered and they'll help you out. Two, make sure you check off, I think it's verified supplier or something like that. I think with verified supplier, it's either they have to be on there for a certain amount of time, or they're verified by Alibaba that they are who they say they are and they have a legit business. Make sure to do those just to avoid potentially any not so up and up businesses or offerings. And basically what I do is just type like custom washi tape and look through the different options, see what their minimum order requirements are, how they ship, because you can do freight, which is by boat and takes a very long time, or by airplane, which can cost a bit more, but in my opinion is worth it to get it quicker. And because it makes me anxious to think of my products just sitting on a boat for however long it takes to get here. Yeah, so I have a washi manufacturer that I have been working with for a few years on there, and they're an amazing company. They are always so helpful, so there are some great companies on there. All right, this one has a few questions. Favorite bookmark? That is a hard question. I have several. All-time favorite? You realize I have 200 plus bookmark designs, right? Oh my goodness. Okay, so it's a tie. So one of my favorite is actually one of my best sellers. I'm gonna put pictures up here. Is my Late Night Book Club bookmark. And my other favorite is one that really doesn't sell as well, but I personally just adore it, is my Reading Narwhal. It just makes me so happy. So those are my two favorites. First product. My first product, I think it was a sticker. Okay, so, well, hold on. Let me back up. When I first started my business, it was many, many years ago, and I was not doing bookish stuff. After college, like a year or two after college, I completely changed the course of my business and switched over to bookish stuff, so I'm gonna say bookish stuff. And my first bookish product was a sticker, and it was a bibliophile sticker. I feel like Vanna White. Year you started. I started my business in 2011. Let's not do the math, it's been a while. And yeah, like I mentioned, I was not doing bookish stuff when I first started. I was 17, I was in high school senior year. I had big dreams and I promised myself that I would make them come true, and I wanted to get an early start, and I was tired of waiting. So I got a business license, and my business has grown and morphed so many times over the years, and the past few years I feel like I finally just found what I was meant to do, and it's just a really great feeling. How did you come up with your business idea? So again, I'll talk about the bookish side. I kind of fell into the bookish business kind of accidentally. So I have always loved to read, and I have been a big reader ever since, well, really I learned to read. Middle school, high school, specifically, I was always reading, going to the Barnes & Noble every weekend to pick out new books. Like that was, my mom and stepdad would bring me and my step-siblings to Barnes & Noble, and our weekly Friday night treat was that we could each pick out a new book. And I was always in the romance section because I love romance books, and I just love a good romance story, and I've just always read romance books. And flash forward to 2019, I was just finished reading the Did I Mention I Love You series by, I believe you pronounce her name, Estelle Mascame, and the Fallen Crest series by Tejan. And I was obsessed, and I'm not kidding. I went on Instagram and I searched Fallen Crest book reviews because I just wanted to find people that loved the books as much as I did so that I could talk to other people and fangirl over books that I love to read. And I came across this picture of this beautiful flat lay picture of Fallen Crest and flowers. I was like, wow. And she, and I think it was in her hashtags, she had Bookstagram. And I was like, what is Bookstagram? I'm like, this sounds like this magical place. And I clicked on it, and I just found thousands and thousands of book photos of people talking about romance books and any other books, thriller, mystery, anything. I was like, I'm not kidding. It felt like opening the door to Narnia. I was blown away, and I just instantly was like, I have to open a Bookstagram account. So I opened up a Bookstagram account, and all I did was just post about the books I love to read, and I just made the best of friends on there, just talking about romance books and all our favorite book boyfriends. And I don't know what it was, but like I was still doing my business on the side, and well, not on the side, it was still my full-time job at that point. But I didn't do anything bookish with it because I was doing like party goods, and I was doing really well on Etsy with that. And I was like, I had a light bulb moment. I was like, why don't I combine my business and my love for drawing things with my love for reading? And here we are. It's a few years later. That's what we're doing. All right, can you explain how you do shipping? I find it very intimidating and confusing. How do you know what to price shipping as when someone places an order, and especially if it's not just one item? Thank you so much. So shipping can be very daunting. So what I recommend doing, whether you are on Shopify, Etsy, or another e-commerce platform, is setting up calculated shipping. I don't have everything in my Etsy shop as calculated shipping, but like my Shopify is. And basically what that does is you put in the weight for every single product that you have in your shop. So like on each product page you would put like 3 ounces, 1 pound, whatever it weighs. And then I believe there's also an area within that to list like the package size. So for example, if I'm shipping a magnetic bookmark, it would go in a 6x4 by like 1 inch mailer. And I would put like 2 ounces in that. And basically, whenever anyone adds things to their cart, so they could add a magnetic bookmark, a mug, an art print, whatever, the cart will automatically add up all like the weights of the different products. So like 1 pound for a mug, 2 ounces for a magnetic bookmark, 1 ounce for a print. So you would have like 1 pound, 3 ounce weight. And so it would automatically be charged as a priority package because it's over a pound. And like it'll do the same thing for international. And basically what calculated pricing does is it charges whatever USPS, FedEx, UPS, whoever you're using, their rates are, it will charge that. Usually on Shopify or Etsy you'll get some kind of a discount for using their shipping services and shipping labels. So you'll get a bit of a discount and a little bit cheaper than what you would get like if you just go up to like a post office counter and say, hey, I want to ship this. But yeah, so that's kind of how you set it up. What items did you sell initially? How and when did you decide to expand your product line? I'm laughing because I'm kind of embarrassed about what I sold. Okay, don't judge me too hard. So when I first started my business, it was kind of like a random mix of things. All I knew, so I was 17, let's keep this in mind. All I knew was that I loved to create things and I loved to draw. So I really didn't have a niche at that point at all. I didn't find my niche till 2019, and I started my business in 2011, so it was a while. And so the first part I'm not laughing about, but I would do art prints of my watercolor paintings, and then I would do handmade like bracelets, earrings, necklaces. I would go to Michael's and buy like all these like whimsical beads, and that should have been a foreshadowing into like my whimsical art style that would be what my business is now. And so I would sell those online, and I would do like hand painted ornaments and all stuff like that. But then when I would do craft shows, I would make dog treats. And you know why it's funny? One, because it's totally random. You go to someone's craft show table, it's this pretty jewelry, art prints, and then dog treats. Made no sense at the time. I'll look back at pictures of my first booth and I'm like, what was I doing? But what's funny is I don't even have a dog. I have cats. I'm a cat person. But I made dog treats because I just thought it would be fun, and I thought dogs would love them, and I wanted to make dogs happy and dog owners happy at my craft shows. Yeah. So, and then through college, I started shifting focus in my business, and I switched over to doing like party goods. So I would do birthday party labels, like custom labels. I would do address labels. I would do like custom cupcake toppers, some with custom text, some with my artwork, like little cutouts. And then I would do like custom confetti and things like that. I did that for a few years through college, and then like a year or two after college. And then in 2019, when I discovered Bookstagram, I completely switched over to doing book stuff, like bookmarks, stickers, stationery, notepads. This is what I'm 100% sticking with. Like, I feel like from 2011 to 2019, I felt like I was a lost puppy wandering around in the dark, just not knowing exactly what I wanted to do. All I knew was that I just loved to make things, and I wanted to be my own boss. And yeah. Hi, maybe talk about the kind of licensing you have for your business. I've been told to get LLC, but others say sole proprietorship, so what's worked best for you in your experience? So I have only ever been a sole proprietor since I started in 2011. My CPA recently emailed me mentioning that if we want to talk about me becoming like an S Corp, I don't know anything about that stuff, so I can't give my opinion on LLC because I've never been one, but yeah, I'm a sole proprietor. I need step-by-step how-tos. Yeah, so I get asked these a lot, so whatever how-to videos you guys want to see on here, whether, you know, it be, I've been asked a lot to do a tutorial on start to finish how to draw a bookmark with like canvas size setup like that, magnetic bookmarks, planner stickers. If you guys want how-to videos from me, I can totally do that. Obviously, I will still be doing my weekly studio vlogs because that's like the main focus of this channel, is to bring you guys behind the scenes of my business. But if you guys want how-tos, just let me know in the comments what kind of how-to you want me to make, and I can do that. So what other sources of revenue do you have to make money? So I have a few. So my small business, Emily Cromwell Designs, is my main source of income, and this is like I'm able to live off of it. But some additional supplemental income that I have is I do monthly e-card designs for a digital e-card and greeting card company, and then I also I have a few things on Creative Market, like I'll sell some digital clip art sets that I did a few years ago, and then I'm represented by an art licensing agency, and for them I send over artwork, several different artwork pieces per month, and I will hopefully get art licensing deals. So I've had my artwork on products that have been sold in Home Depot, in Target, Barnes & Noble, Dollar Tree. It's a really cool experience. Art licensing is so much fun, and but the artwork that I do for them is 100% different artwork than I have in my shop. It's my same style, but any artwork that they have is made exclusively for them and is not available in my shop, and vice versa. What are your favorite books, and also any young adult favorites? Okay, this is a hard question because I have a lot of favorite books, so I'll tell you my favorite series. My favorite series are Fallen Crest series, Court of Thorns and Roses. That is my all-time favorite. Nothing will ever top the second book, A Court of Mist and Fury, for me. That is the holy grail. I love that book. Okay, and I love the Did I Mention I Love You series, Plated Prisoner, love it, Zodiac Academy. Does any other bookworm struggle with this? Like, when someone asks you what your favorite books are and you blank. Like, I love so many books. I have a bookshelf upstairs filled with all my favorite books, and I'm blanking. Ooh, Boys of Brayshaw High, I think. Oh, what's the book? I I think it's called The Truth About Heartbreak by B. Celeste. I adore that book. And then Serenading Heartbreak. Can you tell what kind of books I like? Angsty Heartbreak books by Ella Fields. Yeah, I have a lot. And any young adult favorites? I would have to say young adult wise, like I just read like new adult really, but my young adult favorites will forever be The Hunger Games. Love that series, and I'm so excited about the next movie. And Divergent series. I love dystopian young adult novels. I think they're enjoyable. I like them. How did you and your boyfriend meet? You guys are so cute. First of all, thank you so much. So Chris and I met many years ago. We met freshman year of college, actually. As an art major, I had to take several different semesters of art history, and he was in my art history 1 class, but what was funny is that he was in there totally by accident. So at the college we went to, you had to take gen ed courses, and they're just general education courses that are not related to your major at all, and he was put into art history 1. And I think he almost wanted to try to get out of it, but he couldn't. And I'm so grateful for that because he actually sat behind me and I was in front of him. I don't think we spoke once the entire semester. But then, what was it? He was also in my introductory to English class. And again, we were on opposite sides of the classroom, didn't really talk. In like the first year of college, we were both dating different people, so we didn't really even speak. But second semester of freshman year, art history 2, he took it again because he actually decided that he wanted to major in art history. What are the odds? And so he was in that class, and I walked in and he was in like the same seat as he was art history 1. And I was like, you know what, I want to sit next to him. And like just in a friendly way, like I was just trying to still make friends as a freshman. I went up to him, I was like, can I sit next to you? And he was like, yeah. And we just became really good friends. Like it was totally platonic, nothing romantic at all. We were just really good friends. And we would just talk about art history, talk about our hobbies and stuff like that. And what was it? I think it was towards the end of the summer, we started to like talk a lot and text. And then fall of sophomore year, started to talk even more. But sometimes he would come in on the weekends with me to the art studio at our school, and he would just hang out with me and help me with art projects and for my classes. And we just kind of started hanging out after that. We would have movie nights. I used to go with my friends out to the club to go dancing. It was like a totally different me back then. And we would just hang out all the time. And then slowly we just went from friends to boyfriend and girlfriend. And here we are this November, it will be 10 years. So yeah, we've been together for quite a while. How did you create bookmarks for your business before Procreate? So I didn't start making bookmarks for my business, like drawing bookmarks, until after I had my iPad and Procreate, so I didn't really make them beforehand. Back in high school, I would take like scrapbook paper and cut them out and make bookmarks that way, or like use stamps. But like professionally for my business, I always had Procreate. I never had anything else. How did you figure out all the legal business details? That sounds like a headache. It is a headache. The legal side of owning a business is very stressful, I will not lie. You have a lot to figure out. When I first started my business, I went to my town hall and I got a business license, I got a sales tax permit, and my mom was very helpful at the time. And then she and I also went to our library, and they were having a class on taxes as a small business owner. I was the only 17-year-old there, obviously. Yeah, I've done a lot of reading about it over the years, and you kind of learn as you go. I definitely recommend watching YouTube videos, reading about it, because that is something you need to make sure you know. Since your business is bookish based, when and how did you get into reading? I think I kind of answered this earlier, but yeah, I've been reading forever, but I got into the Bookstagram world in 2019, and then like before Bookstagram world, I was always at like Barnes & Noble and getting books there, but then after finding Bookstagram, basically 99% of the books I read now are indie books, so like purchasing directly from the author, or yeah, so it kind of shifted the books that I read, but still in the romance realm. Maybe you can tell when and how you got started. So kind of answered this a little bit earlier, but I started my business in 2011. I was a senior in high school. As a senior, you would have a free period where you could just do homework, do whatever you wanted. Almost everyone in that class would always be like goofing around and writing things on the whiteboard, like talking with each other. I was the only person sitting there with a pile of books about business and how to run a business. And yeah, that's what I spent the majority of my senior year doing, was learning how to run a business. Tips on creating a social media strategy. So this is kind of different. It depends on what social media channel you're on. I will talk about Instagram specifically because that is the one I've been on the longest, and I think the one where I get the most traffic from. So really it's kind of just finding your own routine and what feels good to you. But me personally, this is gonna sound overwhelming to some people, but I post every single day. I didn't used to, but I post every single day, if not twice a day. Really, it's all about finding out what's kind of performing well. So you might have to post a bit and then go look at your analytics to see what posts did well and then kind of recreate those posts. So for example, studio vlogs on my reels do very well. So when I'm doing like come along with me for a day in the life as a small business owner, those do well. So I recreate those a lot and will just record my day. Other videos that do well on reels are like trending audios and kind of putting your own spin on it with your small business. As far as strategy goes, something I've learned from other like social media marketing gurus and people like that is when you first post your post, don't post and ghost as they say, stay on there and interact with people that comment on your post within like the first 15 to 20 minutes or so of you posting, and then like always reply to comments and then spend time going through your home feed and liking and commenting on things that you resonate with, that you want to have a conversation with. I will try my best, like when people comment on my posts, I will go to their account to try to interact as well. Sometimes I'm not the best at this when I've been very busy and overwhelmed, but I always try. And then when you post your next post, I go back to the previous post and I heart everyone's comments, and that kind of gives them like a nudge, being like, oh, Emily Cromwell Designs liked your comment. So then they'll be like, oh, I wonder if she posted anything new, type of thing. I don't know if that even works, but a social media person recommended that, and so I've been doing it ever since. But really anything to help, because the algorithms, sometimes they're just not in your favor, and some posts do really well. Like I have a 5-second video of my mom carrying book sleeves right now that I posted a month ago, and just within the past 2 days it went from 8,000 views to 510,000 views. I have no idea why, but then I'll post other videos and it'll get maybe 60 likes after a whole day. So it's wild out there. I don't have like a specific strategy like, yes, this will work, but basically engage with others and they'll engage with you. I mean, it's really all about creating a community. Like I don't view engaging as hard work, because I just love talking to everybody on there. So just have fun with it. How do you find companies to create your products in bulk? So this is a good question. So what I recommend doing is going on Google and typing in like the specific products you want to look for, like custom mugs bulk printer, or wholesale custom mugs, notepad print shop, local notepad print shop, because like you can make sure to always look for like local companies you can use too. But basically like the search terms that you want to use are like wholesale, custom, bulk printing, and or like manufacturer, stuff like that. Where do you source your product materials from and shipping supplies? I buy a lot of materials for making things on Amazon, really. They have like everything. Yeah, I get a lot of materials for like making like planner sticker sheets and magnetic bookmarks on Amazon, and shipping supplies I'll use a lot of it is from Amazon. And I also love Paper Mart. They're a really great company and I love their stuff. And Uline. Uline is great, and they have like next day shipping, which is phenomenal. Can you share how to make magnetic bookmarks? Step by step, I really want to learn. So basically all I do is I just, you get the type of paper that you want to print on. There's tons of different ones out there. I use a Silhouette cutting machine that I make them with, and you set up your magnetic bookmark cut files on the Silhouette software, print it out on that paper that you bought, put it on the mat, put it in, it'll cut it, and then fold them and put magnets on, and you made them. So it's kind of like a quick version of how I make them. Although it's like a quick way to explain that, it takes a while to make them if you have a lot to do. I will say that. Do you send samples out to indie bookstores to grow your business? I don't. I've never sent any samples to bookstores for like the wholesale side of my business. I'm on Fair Wholesale and bookstores find me on there. Did you design your own magnetic bookmark templates? Yes, I did. I set that up myself in Photoshop. Were you scared to start your business? I'm gonna say no, because I've just always been so excited to start a business. Like when I was in 5th grade and my mom and I moved into a new house, the first thing I asked her when we walked downstairs and saw a really pretty finished basement, I was gonna say not the house we're currently in, completely different house in a different state, but the first thing I asked her as a 10-year-old in 5th grade was, Mom, can I turn this basement into my art studio and set up a shop so people can come buy my work? So I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. I've always wanted to run my own business, so when I finally did it, I was just excited more than anything. Any pointers on setting up a subscription service type product? Is there an online course you recommend? Let's see. So I'm on Shopify, first of all, for my website platform, and I use the app called Bold Subscriptions. I believe it is an extra fee, something along the line. Yeah, I think you have to pay extra for that app, but it's a godsend. I love that app. That's how I run my monthly bookmark and sticker clubs. So I didn't take a course when I decided that I wanted to run that a few years ago. However, I did take the course, what is it? It's not even like a course, it's a monthly membership, but it's called Launch Your Box, and I have been in that for a few months just to kind of learn the ins and outs of running a subscription box, because that's a bit more overwhelming to me, and I've been, forgot to turn my phone on Do Not Disturb. I've been trying to learn the ins and outs of running a box since I'm going to be launching a subscription box here very, very soon. So that's the only one that I've taken though. I would love to know what website host you use and if you would recommend it. Also, any tips you have for setting up your small business website. So I use Shopify, and I highly, highly recommend Shopify. I love Shopify, and it really kind of made my business grow even more. And that's where I direct all my traffic to, is Shopify. Any tips I have? I don't really have any tips. Basically just find a template that you like, and if it's your first time, make sure you have all your products set up before you go live so that when people go to your site, it's full of your pretty products and everything and not just a blank website. So that's my really tip. What's your least and most favorite thing about owning your own business? I think my most favorite thing would just be how happy I'm able to make people with my artwork. I cannot explain to you how rewarding and fulfilling it is when I receive a message from someone saying, opening the package from you made my day, or using your bookmark always puts a smile on my face. I got a message the other day. It was something along the lines of how my artwork makes them feel like they're nurturing their inner child and they just feel so happy. And that just, it brought tears to my eyes, because my one goal with my business is just creating artwork that makes people smile, because this world could use a lot more happiness and kindness, and if I can put that out there into the world in any shape or form, I'm 100% going to do it. Now, my least favorite thing about owning my own business, okay, there are two things. The first being is, my mom texted me 1 second. I sent her a cat video. Okay. So taxes scared the bejesus out of me. I'm a bit less intimidated by them now that I've been doing this for so long, but I think taxes are more complicated than they need to be. Like, I would love it if we could just be sent, like, at the end of a quarter exactly what we owe, so we know exactly what we owe, instead of having to do all this math stuff and make it more confusing than it needs to be. I will say, to make taxes easier for your small business, especially if you're on Shopify, because Etsy will collect and remit taxes for you, so you don't have to get too stressed about it. But if you're on Shopify or another e-commerce platform, I know at least for Shopify, they don't do that. So you have to set up the sales tax. So I work with a CPA accountant for creatives, and they helped me immensely to figure that out. They send me my quarterly estimates for what's due. They file it for me at the end of the year when tax season comes. They'll send me suggestions for how to grow my brand. Like, they're I love that firm. They're phenomenal and I'm so glad I hired them. And I also hired a bookkeeper, and that really was a game changer. I had tried to do QuickBooks myself, and QuickBooks is great. However, I just found that I hated having to do that side of the business because I was good at math in school, but I don't want to do math all the time in my job, and it overwhelmed me too much and I would be in tears. So I recommend hiring a bookkeeper and a CPA accountant, because those will just help you really make sure that you are getting everything paid that you need to get paid. Oh, and then I also recently signed up with TaxJar, because since my business has been growing, I'm now having to start paying sales tax in states that are not just my home state, but states where I've reached Nexus, and they have been helpful and they will auto-file to those states for me. So it's a lot. I don't like tax stuff. And the other thing that is my least favorite side of running a business is the negative customer service experiences I've had. 99.9% of customers in my business are phenomenal. Some of them have become my best friends. We talk all the time on Bookstagram. Everyone is so supportive and kind, but I feel like it's inevitable, but you're always going to have those few people, and they are very, very few. Believe me, I adore my customers, but I have had experiences with very, very mean, rude people, and like people ranging anywhere from I got your product and it's embarrassing, I would never want to be seen using this, like people being like, you're never going to go anywhere, you're an awful business owner, never going to support you again, you don't know what you're doing, or the constant blaming of small business owners on USPS delays. It's very overwhelming at times, especially during times where there's a lot of delays or during the Christmas season, because as much as I wish I could travel with every single package and get it to every customer quickly, that's just not realistic, and I cannot control if USPS runs into a delay. And I totally get it's frustrating if a package sits somewhere for like 2 to 3 weeks, but being extremely rude to the small business owner who is trying to help and just saying very awful things to them and putting them down and making them cry is never okay. Yeah, so that's a least favorite thing of mine. I don't like it when people choose to be rude about something, when if there's an issue with an order, it can be handled politely and kindly. So yeah, that's my thing. What are your favorite tools that you use? My favorite tools would be my iPad, obviously, because that's how I create all my artwork. My Silhouette Cameo machine, because that's how I make my planner sticker sheets and my magnetic bookmarks, and my Rollo label printer, because when I first started my business, I would print and cut all the shipping labels from printer paper by hand, tape them on. I do not recommend that. Save the hassle, skip what I did, and get yourself a label printer. It is going to save you so much time. As a small business owner with a chronic condition, how do you get health insurance? I want to start my own business, and this scares me as I have several autoimmune conditions. First of all, thank you for asking this. I think this is very important to be talked about, because as someone with a chronic health condition, I really couldn't find a lot of answers about this online when I was searching. So for those that don't know, I have hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Basically, my collagen is wonky and doesn't work well, and I have chronic pain, chronic digestive issues, and I have dysautonomia. I have a bunch of stuff. So I'm frequently having to see healthcare people. What I did, I think I got an email a few years ago from Etsy. I think the company is called Stride Health, stridehealth.com, and they are a company where it's kind of like a search engine of health insurances, and you can, I think, look locally to you or like within your area, and you can search based on current prescriptions that you have, on doctors that you're currently seeing, and you can compare pricing for different health insurances. So that's what I do, and I was able to find one myself. Obviously, paying for health insurance as a self-employed person is not the cheapest, but if you are a chronic health person, you need it. So that's what I did. I just love your style and aesthetic of everything. My question is, what is the one piece of advice that you can give to a new starting and up-and-coming business owner? I think this is gonna sound totally general, but really, the biggest piece of advice I can give you is do not give up. I can promise you there are going to be many, many times where you will just want to give up, throw in the towel, and say, I'm done. Running a small business is hard. You are going to run into a lot of obstacles. You're going to have a lot of periods where you have slow seasons, where things aren't selling well, and you start to second guess your entire life choices and think, should I just quit and go get a 9-to-5 job and work in an office? And it's hard, but I don't want you to give up on your dream because what is the quote? I think it's nothing worth having ever comes easy. And that is so true about having a small business. Take me for an example. My small business has not always been thriving like it is now. It took me a long time to get to where I am, to find my community, to find my niche, to finally find people that liked and appreciated my style of art. And yeah, so just don't give up, keep going towards your dream, take baby steps, and I promise it'll get you to where you want to be. So I had one more question come in on my recent YouTube video after I finished filming this, so I just wanted to make sure I got to answer that for them. So they asked, do you do all your artwork in CMYK or RGB, and do you have certain canvas sizes that you recommend for different types of products? Thank you so much and can't wait for your next video. Oh, and if you ever feel like doing a tutorial or slowish video on how you do repainting patterns, if you haven't already, I would love to see it. So I design and Procreate in RGB. I've never had any problems with it. Sometimes you'll have print shops wanting things in CMYK, but I personally, any print shop I've ever submitted my artwork to, I've never once had a problem in all the years I've been doing this of designing things in RGB. So I do RGB. So the next one was, do you have certain canvas sizes you'd recommend for different types of products? Yeah, so that the canvas sizes that you would set in Procreate is really dependent on the product that you're getting made. So it depends on what manufacturer you're buying it from. Usually manufacturers will have design templates that you can use, which include bleeds and margins and cut lines, so you know where everything's gonna be. I can't really say like, oh, use this for a notepad size if the manufacturer you're going to doesn't have that size, or if you want to do a different size. So I mean, I have certain sizes that I use for notepads, horizontal notepads, stickers, bookmarks, and all that stuff, but again, if you're not using the same supplier as me, you might have something different. I can't really give like a definitive answer on that, but I will say it is very important to set up your designs with bleed margins. And if you don't know what that is, that's where, so you have your main artwork, that's the main attraction, and then you want that artwork to extend past the cut lines into the bleed margin so that it is a seamless design to the end, and like you don't want weird white marks or anything. It's kind of really complicated if it's not something you're used to, so I would probably need to make a video just going into like showing you how to set up a certain product in Procreate and designing it with the margins and stuff. So if that's something you guys want, let me know and I can definitely do a video like that to help out, because I know it can be very daunting if you're not used to working with all that stuff. And the last part was if you feel like doing a tutorial on how you do repeating patterns. So I do repeating patterns in two different ways. You can either do it 100% in Procreate, or you can do it, which is my personal favorite method, where I draw the icons in Procreate, but then I upload the icons into Photoshop on my computer and I set it up as a half drop repeat on there. And that is personally my favorite because Procreate, you can run into design elements and motifs being cut off on the edges and you have to like flatten the layers, whereas Photoshop, you can create like a master group of the individual icons that you can still freely move around, edit layers if you need to, and only the half drop repeat is flattened. And especially if you're doing art licensing, clients need those layers. They cannot have artwork flattened because usually they like to change colors or tweak things, move things around. But I can definitely do a video on that if you guys are interested. So if you think you would want to learn how to do that, just let me know and I can do a video on that. Okay, well, it looks like we are at the end of all the questions. So thank you so much to everyone that asked a question. I really hope this was helpful to you guys. So now I want to share the exciting news that I wanted to tell all of you guys. So 2 to 3 years ago, I started writing an ebook, and it was an ebook about how to start your own creative small business. and I was writing it, like I said, I started about 2 to 3 years ago, but then shortly after I started it, my beloved soulmate cat passed away, and I just kind of fell off the bandwagon, and I didn't have a desire to work on it, so I think I went a year without working on it, and then I've slowly been working on it over time, and a few weeks ago I finished it. I'm very excited about it. It is 61 pages of information about how to run a small business, how to use Etsy, how to set up at craft shows, my advice based off of my experiences of running my own business for the past 11 years now. It covers things like shipping supplies, following your passion with owning your small business, how to do product photography, how to have photo shoot days, my personal schedule and routine for having product launches and how to build up hype for that. And then I also list some of my favorite vendors that I use, so manufacturers for some of the products that I use, where I get like notebooks made, notepads, bookmarks, stuff like that. And yeah, it just really goes over from start to finish how to start a creative small business. I didn't create this Q&A video with the intention of telling you guys about it as like a sales pitch, because I'm just not a salesy person by any means. I'm just like, hey, I drew this bookmark, do you like it? Type of person. I'm not a good salesy person, which is funny because I'm a small business owner. Anyways, I wrote an ebook and it is now available. I just launched it in my shop yesterday, so if you want to check it out, go for it. If you don't, totally fine too. I just wanted to share it that I made it because I'm so excited and kind of proud of myself because this has been a very long time coming, and I just am excited about it, and I wanted to tell you guys that it is now out there in the world, and I'll link it below if anybody is interested. Okay, and that is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to everybody that submitted a question. The next video is going to be a studio vlog. I'm so happy you guys enjoy those. And yeah, if there are any like how-to videos you guys want to see, let me know below and I can work on filming those and putting those together for you guys. As always, thank you guys so much for being here. I am so happy to have you on this journey with me. And until next time, have some fun reading some great books, and I will see you in my next video.